Welcome to the Module 6, Lesson 6 Debrief. We have two questions to be answering, but first we have to look at the plot, the line plot that we're going to be analyzing. I have a copy of it here, and our title tells us that it's time spent outside over the weekend. So this data is going to show us how much time was spent outside over the weekend. This bottom line, these numbers represent hours again, just like our last line plot. These X's, again, represent one person. So to answer the question, what kind of data is shown on this line plot? It's showing us how many people spent how much time outside. So if I look here at this first number, 1 hour, 1, 2, 3 people, because each X is a person, so 1, 2, 3 people spent 1 hour outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people spent 1.5 hours outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people spent 2 hours outside. 1, 2, 3, 4 people spent 2.5 hours outside. 1, 2, 3 people spent 3 hours outside. 1, 2 people spent 3.5 hours outside. And 1 person spent 4 hours outside. Now, our next question asks, if Mrs. McKeever said 2 hours was the most frequent time spent outside, is she correct? And explain your reasoning. So she's saying that 2 hours, right here, is the most frequent time spent outside. Now looking at my line plot, this is definitely the tallest column of X's. And these X's are aligned, so each row is pretty equal, right? So by looking at the tallest column, this does tell me this was the most frequent amount of time spent outside. This is correct. Now, what was the longest amount of time spent outside as a bonus question? You would be right if you said 4 hours. One person spent 4 hours outside, and this was the longest amount of time spent outside. Last bonus question. What was the least frequent time spent outside? It's still 4 hours. Only one person spent 4 hours outside. This happened the least amount of times. This occurred the most frequent. This occurred the least frequent. Now, if I asked what was the least amount of time spent outside, 3 people spent 1 hour outside, so the least amount of time that these kids spent outside over the weekend was 1 hour. Most frequent was 2 hours. The longest and least frequent was 4 hours. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.